Last Tuesday, I stood in front of my open fridge for 4 minutes. It was full. I brought all of it, and I could not decide what to eat. So I took out my phone and I typed, "What should I cook tonight?" And it told me, and I cooked it, and it was fine. I've been thinking about that ever since, not because it's dramatic, because it isn't. Well, because it was completely normal. In the last video, I said I was scared of disappearing. I've changed my mind a little bit. I don't think that's what's happening. I think the honest version is a lot worse and much more boring than disappearing. I already merged with this thing. It's already inside how I think. I never noticed because it never arrived as a threat. It arrived as a help. Let me show you how far back it goes, because this didn't start in 2023. It started with paper. For most of history, if you knew something, it lived in your head, and when you died, it died with you. So we started writing things down, and that changed everything about being human. Because for the first time, you could learn from someone who was already dead. That's what a book is. It's memory that outlived a body. But there was a problem with it. Paper burns. Libraries burned all the time, and when one did, you lost 1,000 years of someone's thinking in a single afternoon, and nobody could ever get it back. So eventually, we built things that don't burn. Files, copies, copies, and more copies, copies of copies, and copies of copies of copies. And I want to be clear, all of this was good. Every single step of it was good. We kept moving our memory out of our bodies, and every time we did, we got stronger. 30 years ago, holding all of that took a building, rooms full of machines and people whose whole job was keeping them cold. Now it can fit in my hand. And then it fit in my pocket. Then it became basically nothing at all, a cloud of things. The size was never the interesting part. The interesting part is that about 3 years ago, it stopped being a place I go to look things up. It started answering me. That's a completely different thing. And I don't think we said it out loud when it happened. A library makes you go and find things. This one meets you at the door with the answer already written. And I don't think I've put it down since it was ever created. So this is great news, right? It is. If somebody already taught you how to want to know things, if someone sat with you when you were young and let you stay focused for a while, if you learned that being stuck is part of where the thinking actually happens, nobody taught me that. Not on the internet. The internet is where I go to end a question. It's never been where I learned to have one. And that's the part that worries me. Getting the answer instantly doesn't make me smarter. It just makes me finished. Now you could say we've been doing this forever, and you'd be right. Every morning I use a machine I do not understand to make coffee. I could never make one on my own, and I feel nothing about that. No guilt at all. Nobody mourns the calculator either. We handled over arithmetic decades ago, and the world got better. So let's test it. Put your phone down for a second. Let's say 125 times 75. I'm not interested in whether you got it. I'm interested in what happened in the first half second. That small flinch, where part of you checked whether it still knew how, and then quietly decided not to even try. I don't get that flinch anymore. It's just gone. And here's the thing, I never sat down one day and agreed to give it up. There was no moment. It just stopped being there. And honestly, arithmetic is the easy example. The one that actually gets me is the map. Because you've had this happen. You're 500 meters from your own bed on a street you've walked like 1,000 times, and your phone dies. And you genuinely don't know which way to go. You've been through that street. You've never once learned it, because you never had to. It's not one big handover. That's what makes it hard to see. My grandfather gave up almost nothing. My father gave up a little, and I gave up whatever was convenient that particular week. Nobody ever signed anything. It came one small convenience at a time. So here's the question I actually want to ask. What if it doesn't stop with arithmetic or directions? Because it already hasn't. You ask it what you write, and what to change, and what to cook. I ask it what to cook. So let's take it seriously and go all the way to the end of it. Ask it something that actually decides your life. Ask it who to be with. And it will answer. It won't hesitate for a second. It won't think about it. 3 names, pros and cons under each one. Compatibility, long term, the whole thing, built out of everything you've ever told it about yourself, which is, at this point, to be fair, is more than you've told anyone. You would pick one, and it would feel like your decision because you're the one who clicked it. Now, here's what I can't get out of my head. That would have been a real marriage. 20 good years. Kids, probably. And so would the second one. And so would the third. Any of those 3 women becomes the love of your life, and you never find out about the other 2. Nothing goes wrong. Nobody's unhappy. The answer wasn't bad. That's the whole problem. The answer was good. 3 times over. And the only thing standing between those 3 entire lives was how you happened to phrase the question that night. And it isn't only who you love. It's the business you start, and the city you move to, and the job you're about to walk out of. At some point, that stops being advice you are taking. It starts being the shape of your life. People used to say this line was written before you were born, and that was supposed to be the frightening version. Mine's being written tonight by an AI model that I pay a subscription for. So this is where I've ended up. Its phrasing is in my emails, its logic is in my work. Half of what I say in meetings, I read on a screen an hour earlier. And going the other way, everything about me is sitting inside it. My questions, my worries, the things that I never say to a person. We merged? I know how that sounds, but I don't think I have a softer word for it. And it isn't a prediction. It already happened, quietly, while it was being useful to me. And that leaves me with one genuine question I really cannot answer. If most of my choices started as its answers, then which part of this is actually me? And that's how we collapse